Hey, you guys, this is Death College, and you are tuned into the Academiagothica minisoda, episode 17 of the series. Um, this is gonna be kind of strange. I don't record back to back, especially on main event days, like daily article days or sorry, weekly article days. I'm just waking up here, and you know, stuff that has to do with you know the heaviest content creation portion of the week. I got kind of an interesting message that I decided to come up with an idea to talk about. Um, I noticed that a lot of the people I follow on YouTube have been under some kind of financial attack, or they feel like their content and their views have purposely been like not compounded, but compressed in a way, or their views have been compounded to reflect lesser numbers and lesser pay allotments and rightful distributions of their you know their currency earned. I noticed that some people will show their face, some people won't. It depends really on the day, or the I guess the mode that they're filming in. But what's really interesting about this is that when these people are on camera, there can be kind of inferred behaviors. Inferred meaning subconscious, or not realized behaviors that even people with self-awareness will tend to have. But what isn't realized about them is how technology can capture these images of them in a recorded format and abuse their presence through artificial intelligence and, I guess you could say, uh, icon manipulation, or footage manipulation. So, for those of you who are aware that there are surveillance tricks that can be done to loop footage and sort of get it stuck in a specific loop to make it look like the footage is still running on a live timer, but it is just the same capture of something that was convenient enough to put on it, like an empty hallway, or something that wouldn't indicate any kind of error or issue with the recording as it's supposed to employ itself, which is to take note of who comes and goes, and whether or not there are changes to this event, and what types of changes there could be in the case that there are, right? But um, with this recent surge of artificial intelligence abuse, I feel like it's important to kind of put it out there that there are certain behaviors that can be captured by an AI bot, or some type of recording, screen recording person thing, program. It could be an app, who knows, um, that will take your footage of you, innocently eating candy or smoking a vape or something like that, and turn it into a sexualized deep fake, right? So what'll happen is the image will be able to capture your face, your body movements, your motions, your actions, which in this case would be eating a lollipop, or eating a popsicle or something like that, smoking your vape without your mouth being covered by your hand or what have you. These types of things can actually be manipulated to appear a totally different way. And sometimes, if people are targeting people, they will use these images to defame them. Now, there are some people who have actually been accused of promoting sexualized content on YouTube, when in fact they do not. And I know that I don't promote sexualized material unless I specifically label it hacker smut, because, wallpapers are wallpapers. They're fun. They sell. But, it's not one of those things where people are getting on camera on YouTube and outright selling anything sex. They're selling information, really. So what's going on here is, with the use of AI to create sex where there is not, because a lot of AI originally abused to do just that. And I'm not quite sure why that was even necessary. I am not in the heads of these people who develop these apps. I could not tell you or understand what the intention or mode of this person or group of people who started using AI this way could have been, other than to do what everybody else in criminal rings wants to do, and escape the responsibility of their own work possibly being able to hurt people. So uh the the situation that I'm more concerned about now is, like, with people already complaining that they're being accused of having sexualized content on their places of employment, their work, and stuff like that. I'm worried that their images and their imagery could be manipulated now by AI, as they often are, or Photoshop, or any kind of photo manipulation and compilation, image compilation specifically, program, to put these images together and fabricate them entirely out of something that was not there in order to attack them. I see the signs and I see the patterns, because this is exactly what slander is these days. When people talk about defamation of character and slander and all these things that come up in courtrooms, it's not the 90s anymore. We are dealing with people who are literally fabricating entire lifestyles of people and presenting them as if they're real, and then costing courts literally millions of dollars to come together in the same room to decide whether or not their time is being wasted. It is a huge, huge problem. It's enormous. It's an enormous type of problem to have. The people doing these things are being told by their parents, their mentors, that this is how to do certain things, and then they use underage people so they don't get in trouble for it. I mean, this is a story that's as old as time. People who are underage have been working for porn industries and porn distribution industries, and people who employ these porn distribution industries and crime rings and whoever, to create these images since the 90s, actually, which is the sad and seedy underbelly of some hacker culture that nobody wants to talk about. It's the fact that porn has always sold, and therefore the people who were in the porn industry always made money, and always made enough money to abuse people who were not in the porn industry, or worse, to groom them to become accustomed to the ways of the porn industry when they did not want anything to do with it because of the financial issues. But one of the things that's always rooted in the porn industry is other people's finances, which, it's there are three things you don't mess with typically, and sometimes the fourth. You don't mess with somebody's car, you don't mess with somebody's significant other, and you don't mess with their money. And the fourth being their dog. I prefer that one too, but there are just some things you don't do anything to any of those things, a dog or a cat, what have you. And this is precisely where that industry dabbles. It dabbles in messing up other people's money to make their own money. That is how it has become recently, with artificial intelligence, with the ease of data being able to be manipulated even on a live stream. We have to be really careful. There are only so many live, authentic streams of data that we are going to be able to recognize in the next 20 years. So to be forewarned is to be half saved as well. And I just wanted to give a shout out to the people that I follow on YouTube, that I care about, who tend to show their face, who have a web presence, who are influencers. I love your work, and I want to protect it by saying, don't put stuff in your mouth on a camera because what people will do when they're trying to target you and harass you is use those images to make it look like you weren't as innocent or to yourself as you were. that you were doing this and that. I'm going to let your imagination take care of it. But what I will say is it is a grotesque way of people getting to bully you into looking a certain way. And it can prove to be really difficult to tell whether or not they're lying. So this is not something that I want you to have to deal with at all. So just a quick PSA, don't vape or eat on cam. Just mind where your hands are. If you make certain hand gestures on cam, just try to watch where your hands go, because some people are so desperate to make money off of you that they won't only copy you, they won't only scam people with your likeness and your accounts, but then they'll go so far as to try to destroy your image to assure that they can do something to take your place, your money, everything, so that they don't have to work. And these people, with respect to what their work is, it's not work. It doesn't matter how much labor they put into it, it's not work, because that whole time they could have just been themselves. But, that's just how it is. And I'm just here to let you guys know what my stance on it is. So, love you. Don't don't fall prey to other people's expectations of your hard work going to them. It's not your issue to deal with. It's not anyone's issue to deal with, but the broke person who felt desperate enough to do that to you. All right, take care, guys. Thanks for tuning into the minisoda. There's more content next week, and pay attention to the event schedule. There's some stuff coming up. All right, catch you later, guys. Bye.